The clearest memory I can recall from my adolescent years is the anticipation I felt to enter high school. The immersion of being perceived as one of the big kids and finally stepping out of my childhood was excitement enough to keep my stomach flustered for months. I soon learned that high school is not how the movies depict it to be. It is not as exciting, friendly, or even as safe as I had imagined. And the worst part is, no amount of warning could have prepared me for the longest years of my life. One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned in high school wasn't taught to me by a teacher or even in a classroom. I learned to apply the biggest cliche to my life, that in order to succeed, we must fail. Failure in high school came to me in diverse forms, including failed tests in classes, failed confidence, and failed relationships. I began to feel as if failure had become a part of me. The result of this heavy burden was the only coping mechanism I perceived as healthy: bulimia. Every family has a black sheep, and being the overweight one made me just that. As far back as I can recall, I was infamous for always having a full plate and eating as much as I possibly could at once. You ate like a man, or you were seen as ungrateful. In elementary school, a boy once told me he would leave Twinkies outside of my house because I was overweight. I faced being ridiculed and ostracized. The only solution I had ever known was to eat away my feelings. I ate to fill the void I felt. Part of me continued to stress eat because I believed I would never be good enough in anyone else's eyes anyway. The cliche, first high school heartbreak, is not so much of a cliche because it has the ability to tear a person to absolute pieces. Mine did just that. However, I lost 3 people at once: my boyfriend, my best friend, who are happily in love as I speak, and myself. Much like teenagers my age, I became lost and confused. I found myself constantly angry at the world. The product of this anger made me seek unethical outlets. My insecurities turned me into cracks in the sidewalk, empty until someone or something filled me. I was unable to find comfort in my own home because in my house, feelings were seen as weak. My mom as well, carrying the same emotional outlook on working out as I, except not as extreme. She struggled with her weight throughout her life, and hearing stories, I questioned, do I think this way because of the strong influence she holds upon me? I started to work out 3 times a day, every time I ate. I stopped eating. The minimal amount of food I did choose to consume was forced back out of my mouth and flushed right back down the toilet. The numbers on the scale gave me the ability to finally have control over something in my life. I began receiving compliments about how amazing my body looked, but I was still not satisfied with myself. Nothing was ever good enough. Growing up in a family full of addicts made me realize that I too became addicted to something that made me feel better for a short period of time. I was addicted to bulimia and the daily routine that this disease brought along with it. My bathroom became my home and my best friend, the only real place I could feel comfortable. Bulimia not only affected my body, but my psychological and mental health as well. I felt the blanket of depression draped around me each day. However, I was unable to muster up the courage to tell anyone. I did not notice that I was doing more harm than good until I went to the dentist and found out I had 8 cavities. It was then that I came to the realization that my disease was not my companion, but my own worst enemy. It's been almost 3 years now since the bulimic breakdown started. After seeing therapists, becoming closer to my mother, and attempting to work past the flaws, and having my uncle pass away, I realized that my life is in fact precious. Bulimia can lead to tooth and gum problems, digestive problems, and psychological and mental health disorders. Surmounting this incredible obstacle was not an easy task for me, and I continue to learn from it even today. I believe that I will be able to overcome the bridge that bulimia does not want me to cross, that my mind does not want me to see. I believe in confidence. I believe in pure and natural beauty. I believe that as harsh as life can be to a person, it is possible to see all different perspectives in a situation, turning all negatives to positives. I believe in standing in front of the mirror and being happy with what I look like. After all, we're only going to have these bodies once.